6:35 here on the Big 550 KTRS. Every time this man is in town, we give him the microphone to promote whatever it is he's doing. He's National Child Safety Expert Marc Klaas. Marc, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you so much for having me yet again.
We were talking just here on the air. It's been 20 years since your daughter was murdered.
Polly was kidnapped on the 1st of October, 1993. And so, yes, we just celebrated the 20th anniversary.
Quickly remind people what that story was.
Well, sure. I mean, it was she was having a slumber party with two girlfriends in the home that she shared with her mother in Petaluma, California. And at about 10:30 in the evening, a knife-wielding, bearded stranger entered the bedroom, told the girls that if they made a noise, he would slit their throats. He then proceeded to tie, bind, and gag Polly's girlfriends and steal her into the night. Her last words were, "Please don't hurt my mother and sister, who were asleep in another room." And we then spent the next 65 days searching, only to find that a recidivist violent offender, a guy who had been diagnosed previously as a sexually sadistic psychopath, had kidnapped, raped, and murdered her that very evening. That character is now on California's death row.
Still on death row 20 years later.
And he will probably be on death row 20 years from now.
You have dedicated your life to child safety.
And we've done quite a bit of work, yes, indeed.
Tell us about some of the work you've done.
Well, it depends on what realm you want to go in. I mean, legislatively, we were in the forefront of things like Megan's Law, things like the Amber Alert, things like the Adam Walsh Act, which tied all the states together in some of their child safety protections. California's 3 strikes and you're out law. More recently, we've been working in the realm of human trafficking,
which is a big story that's not getting any attention.
Well, it's starting to get a lot more attention because what we're finding out is that instead of just a receipt country for human trafficking, we're really a demand country. We're really supplying a lot of our own demand with our own teenage girls.
So
quite
sad.
frankly,
So
yeah,
sad.
It's a horrible situation. Sure.
You have said to me, and it so rings true, is that God forbid you find yourself in a situation where your child's missing.
Right.
You say, parents, what you should do is go to the police and say, ask me every question under the sun so that you can get off me and try and find the real person.
That's absolutely correct. Because what they're going to do is they're going to launch a series of investigations, and you're going to be at the middle of all of those. And once you eliminate yourself as a suspect, then they can move on to the other possibilities and ultimately solve the case.
And so talk to them and say, ask me anything you want. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Please ask me as quickly as possible so we can continue on.
And part of that is stay away from lawyers, because lawyers are going to get between you and the authorities, and they're going to have a different focus than you have. Your focus is getting your child back. The law enforcement's focus is getting your child back and finding out who did it, and the lawyer's focus is going to be protecting you.
What's coming up this weekend?
Oh, well, we're doing something different this year for the first time in 18 years. We're doing a 5K run. We're doing a 5K run tomorrow at Kirkland Park at 111 South Geyer Road in St. Louis.
And how do we sign up? What do we do?
Well, you can sign up on the spot. But I think we have something like 50 to 75 people that have already signed up for it. Well, it's starting at 7:30. We're going to do the 5K run. At 8:30, there's going to be a 1-mile family fun run. And then from 8:30 until noon, we're going to be doing our fingerprint program.
Talk about that for a second.
Well, we've done this all over the country for the last 20 years now. We've fingerprinted and photographed more than 1 million kids without ever charging a family for the service or without ever databasing any information. And we're only able to do that because of sponsors like the Munganast Auto Group. And in fact, there are no other sponsors like that. We've been working with them longer than anybody else. They'll underwrite the program. What we do is fingerprint kids. We photograph kids using electronic equipment. We give their parents a biodoc with the picture, with the prints, blank form fields for them to fill out when they get home of personal and private information. We give them a 9-point plan on what to do in case of an emergency, following some of the steps that we just followed, and a do-it-yourself DNA kit.
You're in here every year with this, right? How many years have you been coming to St. Louis with the Munganast Group?
I keep thinking it's 18 years, but I've been thinking that for about 15 years now, so who knows?
Okay, so where do we go 7:30 tomorrow?
7:30 tomorrow, you want to go to Kirkwood Park at 111 South Geyer Road in St. Louis.
And all the money is raised for?
The Klass Kids Foundation, the best child safety organization on the face of the earth.
It is. I don't know how you get out of bed every day, but the fact that you have continued this for 20 years is a remarkable testament to your strength.
Well, you know what? Thank you very much. And I'll tell you how we do it. We always keep Polly at the forefront of what we do, and we now can look back on 20 years of accomplishment and achievement and realize that child safety is in a much better place now than it was 20 years ago.
For as long as I have a show, you're always welcome, my friend.
You're my man.
640 here on the Big 550.